Hello and welcome. My name is TyrionLanstr. So for today, I want to take a look at some of the changes that were made to Glorious Battle and to show you what it looks like as a member of the leadership team that is able to control some of the different aspects of Glorious Battle. I thought it'd be kind of fun to take you behind the scenes and what all that stuff looks like. So, right now we are in the Hall of Ages. That is where K69 is housed. We have a very competitive different bracket here. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying it so far, but it's a very tough one. We have some very scary members to our left in the green group, both the Savo account as well as God of War Love and a couple of the other kind of very, very strong max accounts are right nearby us, so we're kind of scared of them. But we luckily have a great group here in our faction. Both Tough and TBE are in it, and we're kind of working together very, very well to make it as good as it can be and try to do what we can to make a little run here. So really quickly, wanted to just kind of give a rundown of what has changed. So most of the changes that were made have to do with kind of controlling for the fact that you have all these other random people in your faction that may be, not always contributing in the right ways. So, let's just say that I want to take a look at the other, members of our leadership. The way that I can find that, if I go to administration, sorry, not this. It's commander right here. Sorry. So the command post, if I go to the directive list, this gives me a list of all of the different commanders in the faction. So as you can see, there are going to be 4 from each of the kingdoms that we have. K118 has their 4, K37 has theirs, K190 has theirs, K228 has theirs, and I think that the last one is just us and K69. So all of us have our representatives, and you can see on the right here, there's this impeach gavel. And what we can do is, if we think someone is doing anything to be detrimental to the rest of the alliance, we can vote to impeach them. So it's kind of funny how it works, but you basically press on it. I'm going to quickly do it on my king, Rytanic. He knows I would never actually want this for him, but just to show, I would press this. It would say impeach him. I could press confirm, and then we would all vote whether to impeach him or not. There's a little button in the top corner right here that would say impeach, and everyone else would get a chance to vote. The way that the voting works is that you need to have a majority of people vote to impeach someone in order for them to be impeached. Anyone that does not vote or votes no does, basically is the same thing. So the problem is that you can't do it with just 2 of the alliances. You really need a full contingency of 3 different kingdoms to come together and say, we're going to vote with you, we support you in voting this person out. Which is in some ways a good thing. It does require a lot of coordination, but that's the other bad thing, is that it requires a lot of coordination. So you got to really work together with everyone else if you want to impeach someone. But if you impeach them, it takes away their ability to have certain other things that they can do. So as someone that is in management, when I look at something, I can issue a command or a declaration on that. And if we look at what issuing a command would be, as you can see, I have this ability. If I were to declare war on it, right, that would be to use one of our war horns on it, okay? I could do that right here. I would just hit declaration of war. Now, one thing to notice, there's the new thing that was added where they added peace phases to Glorious Battle. So because right now we happen to be in CCS, if I hit declaration of war, it would say cannot declare war. It won't let me until all of the CCSs are over, and then we will re-enter kind of a war phase, and I'll be able to do that again. So I think that that's a really great addition, by the way. I love that they've done that. It just means that people aren't going to be kind of taking advantage of alliances that are in Ultimate Conquest and can't participate at certain times. And it means you have to kind of coordinate around that, which it's a long event. I think that shouldn't be a problem for people, really. It does mean that we've kind of saved up a lot of war bugles, though, and I think that when we get to this next reset, it's going to be a bit of a mad rush of everyone trying to use all their bugles quickly. So it may get a little bit crazy. So What else can I do? Well, I can also set construction tasks. So if we look here, I have a lot of different things I can do because this is a trading post. I can transport trade. I can I can send defensive troops. Again, I can issue a command to a certain group, tell them to do something with it. Just would basically tell people, hey, I want you to go do this thing. It doesn't do anything aside from that. And I wish people followed it more. They really usually ignore it, so it doesn't matter a whole lot. But what I do have the ability to do, if I go, like, let's say here, to construct, I have the ability to view and post constructions. So let's say I go to view constructions here. Actually, this is a really lame one. That's a caravan. Let's take a more interesting one, like a merchant hall. Okay, so if I go to view constructions, you can see I have 5 different options to choose from, and it tells me what our kind of current level is at for each item. So there's enlistment order, where I can increase the number of defense troops it has. I can increase the total city defense by 5,000. I can also increase the total attack, defense, and health of any city defense troops. And I have these other 2 special ones that are unique to the merchant cities. I can increase the number of shops by 5% or the efficiency by 3%. And you can see that those 2 we've both leveled up to level 3 on this merchant city. On our other one, if you take a look, we've only leveled them up to level 2 on both of those. So this one, if you take a look, has, if I go to trade here, I have 157 shops at 68% efficiency versus 171 spots at 71% efficiency. So you can see that difference is right there in the quality of it that you have. Now, what have we been spending most of our time constructing? Well, as you might imagine, if you look at construction, we have maxed out our military regimes, which increases the speed that we get our war horns and marching bugles at. That is the most important thing to get. So all of our military cities, that is totally maxed out, and that we did immediately. So I think that's just kind of an interesting thing to be able to see, just where you would go to construct things. And let's say I wanted to post a new construction. All I would do is I go to post construction, and then as long as we have at least 5 million resources, I could post another one here. But this is a great example of where people can sabotage you. Maybe we don't want to use all of our fortresses' resources that it currently has in it. We want to save those to be able to move troops. Opening a bunch of construction tasks would take away from that, and would be really, really annoying, would not be helpful to us. So just kind of an interesting aside, I think, to seeing, kind of what all of that looks like and how that works. So that's kind of the main thing that has changed as far as the peace stage goes, as far as the impeachments go, and then kind of just the behind the scenes of how to post constructions and what all of that looks like. There have been a couple other kind of quality of life changes to it that I think are really, really good. The main one that I'll say is biggest is that right now, when you want to obtain these, the kind of points that you get, the glory points or the, contribution points, you no longer have to, you can get them from any position that you have. Like, it doesn't matter whether you are whether you're logistics, defensive, or offensive. In the past, your position determined how you were able to get points. Now it's all universal, which I really, like I said, I think that's a great, great change. There's a whole list of it if you go to it. So if I go here, apologies, is it right here maybe? Yeah, right here you can see that it's just universal. Based on the action that you take, you get a certain number of resources, and I'm sorry that's totally getting cut off for you guys. There are other places to find it, but essentially, point being, the same way you got points last season, where for doing construction tasks, for trading resources, for transporting resources, for killing troops, for attacking a building, all of those ways of getting points still exist, but now they're universal. You don't have to be a certain type to get points for that thing. So even though I'm in logistics right now, I still get 100 points for attacking a building. So this means that people don't have to be switching back and forth as often. And I think for the most part, I would recommend everyone stick to logistics until the fighting really breaks out. Then maybe you want to switch to offensive just because it's going to help you benefit your alliance a little bit more. But really probably want to stick to logistics for as long as possible, just because it is going to allow you to trade more efficiently than if you were on offensive. So that's the general gist of what's going on with Glorious Battle. Like I said, I find this to be one of the most fun events that we have. Really, really interesting, and just a great way to kind of meet other alliances, face off with them, and see how everything is going to break down. I definitely will be keeping you updated and letting you know how it goes. Hopefully, once the war horns can be used, we'll have some interesting developments with the map. I won't get into the details of what our plan is, but hopefully in the next day or two, we'll see some fun developments. So until next time, my name is TyrionLanstr. I'll see you then.